Hey, GenderqueerChat, Joe here. Miserable snowy day. I don't know if you can see out the windows, but yeah, it's kind of a very miserable day out there. I'm meeting my friend for lunch in 5 minutes, so I have 5 minutes to make a video on my iPhone, which I hope I can upload, and I hope it's not sideways, because I've never done it on the iPhone before. So sorry about the shaky camera. Okay, so this week's topic was spirit animals, and that's a little bit of a weird subject. I think Ricky had some trouble figuring it out too, and Dallas suggested it, so I'm just going to take a stab at it. Many years ago, my cousin, who is 17 years older than me, said something to me. I was 17 at the time and she was 34. And she said something along the lines of, Joe, you're like an unbroken purebred or thoroughbred or something like that, horse. She was implying I was a horse. But I think purebreds or thoroughbreds or whatever they're called, thoroughbreds I think is what they're called, are like very, very prized animals, very, very, a lot of potential. But when they're unbroken, it means they haven't been trained and they're just crazy wild and they run everywhere. And anyway, flash forward about 20 years, and I went to a psychic fair some years ago, and the psychic said to me, and by the way, the psychic fair is this weekend, there's a whole bunch of them coming up in Southern Ontario in the next few weeks. So I'm going to be going. But anyway, this one psychic who I love, her name is Susan. She said to me one time, she kind of closed her eyes and she said, I see like an animal totem for you. And she said, basically, you're a horse, like you're a wild, crazy horse. And you're in a pen and you're facing forward and the pen has 3 sides to it. And beside you and in front of you. But the behind you is wide open. And you don't know it. Like you don't understand that to be free, all you have to do is turn around and run. Like you don't get how wide open the world is. You're feeling penned in, but it's really only 3 sides. And she said something along the lines of this horse being my animal totem. So there you go. Twice in my life, I've either been compared to a horse, which I do get that I could run crazy free, and that actually, when she said that to me about the pen, it really rang true in my life at that time, because I do pen myself in. I put myself in situations where I'm enclosed when I don't need to be. You know, I do know that I could be free and run free if I wanted to. It's just a choice. Or just take a few steps backwards, basically, is what the other thing she was saying. Another time in my life, when I lived in a van and I road tripped around North America for 4 months, and I was in the Yukon Territory, which is right near Alaska in northern Canada, and I saw a fox. For the first time in my life, I saw a fox run, and it was just out of the corner of my eye. I just barely saw it. And that trip was kind of crazy because it was all kinds of wildlife that I saw on the side of the road, bison and sheep and all kinds of things you'll see on the Alaska highway. But this fox really blew my mind. I was so excited to see a fox. And I was talking to a friend of mine who said, Joe, when an animal reveals itself to you, specifically an animal that is otherwise kind of hard, you know, sly like a fox, crazy like a fox, fast like a fox. I mean, foxes don't typically make themselves seen. They're usually hiding somewhere or they're running. So the fact that I was able to see one, she said to me that this fox allowed it to be seen and that you should be very honored. And I was. Just go back to the stallion metaphor earlier. Stallion is a male horse, which I did want to bring it back to gender because Dallas was saying, you know, animals are typically genderless. And yeah, I really dislike how like a mare is supposed to be like this sweet little horse and a stallion is supposed to be like really powerful. I really dislike those analogies. However, there you have it. Back to the fox. I did end up seeing a fox up close and personal for a long time when I was camping last summer with my friend Christine when we went on that road trip, and I made some videos from out in Oregon. I went to Victoria, but we saw a fox, and he looked really skinny, and he was walking alongside the car, and we were slowed right down, and it was so cool. It was really so cool. So in my life, foxes and horses apparently play larger roles than average, and gender, like I don't know what gender those foxes were, nor do I care. And I do appreciate this part of the question that Dallas posed, which is that animals don't always have gender, and it's not necessary, you know, to know the gender for it to be a powerful, meaningful thing in your life. Similarly, on the other side of that coin, though, is sometimes animals do have a gender associated with them. And I think I've mentioned this in previous videos, how cats, you know, if you've ever seen a cat give birth to kittens or whatever, there is like this crazy maternal instinct. Like the mother just knows what to do, and it's weird. And the father kind of fucks off. And then, okay, now I'm all over the map, but I'll just bring this up too. I used to do bird watching in my city, where I worked, right across the street from where I worked. These peregrine falcons would nest on like the 14th floor of a hotel across the street. And peregrine falcons at one point were on the brink of extinction. But we've, a lot of birdwatching organizations have brought them back. They're off like the endangered list now. Because when a peregrine falcon pair mate, they usually mate for life or many, many years. They're together for many years. And when they lay the eggs, the father actually sits and broods or whatever with the eggs, like sits on the eggs and keeps them warm. And the mother and the father equally go get prey and bring it back to the babies and stuff like that. It's very interesting that the males participate in the raising of the children. And anyway, the birdwatching group that I was with, basically, because peregrines typically breed in city areas and on high buildings, that's kind of what they do. They soar. They're predator birds. When the babies take flight, the chicks take flight, their first flight, sometimes they land on a busy street. And so what we did was just watch them. And if they landed on the street, we'd go grab them and bring them back up to the nest and stuff, or the scrape it's called, not the nest. And it's really cool to see these little, I did see actually one of them take its first flight, although we kind of blinked and missed it. But it was my volunteer duty. It was my volunteer shift when the bird took flight. And it actually went missing for quite some time, and it took a while for them to find it. But okay, I gotta go. I gotta go meet my friend. But good topic this week, Dallas. Thank you for posing it. And I should put my glasses on, seeing as I need to see. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.